Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I thought we should play some more Legacy, and I'm looking at a sweet Eldrazi deck. MTGO player Raiden has done well with this deck recently, and I wanted to explore it a little bit to see if I can showcase basically how I feel like the deck is positioned in theory. So you have Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void is awesome in the metagame right now. We put on a lot of pressure. That is awesome in the metagame right now because of, Reanimator, card Reanimate, Life Loss, all of that jazz. And then there's this hit or miss card, Wastegate Battle Mage. So if you get to, bounce a Murktide or kill a One Ring or whatever, that's where you want to be. This card is cheap. This card is versatile. So let's hope that card is paying its dues. I am very happy to register for a Cavern of Souls in a format with tons of Force of Will. I have Wasteland. I have a little bit of inevitability with Eye of Ugin, which is mainly a soul land, but sometimes, can do some things in the late game. I love that we're attacking early and often with Line Breakers and Smashers. I love that Kozilek's Command and Fleshraker is a combo that can break up stalls. I love that Thought-Knot Seer can disrupt my opponent and get a bit of info about what's going on as well. And then just a couple of Devourers. Here is our top end, and I guess opening hand smoother. Sideboard is the biggest challenge for a deck like this, so I did make a few tweaks. I also added the 4th Reality Smasher, because I really feel like just, attacking is going to be awesome. Dodge's Fatal Push. Let's see if I'm right about that. A couple of Dismembers, 6 Graveyard Hate cards, one being more versatile, one being like fastest and hardest to interact with. Couple of Null Rods and 3 Flutes against unfair stuff, and then a couple of Grim Monoliths basically against Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon, which are going to be very, very annoying. So yeah, let's see if I can put on some pressure, I guess win some die rolls and take down some opponents. All right, let's play some Eldrazi aggro. I'm on the draw here, which I don't want that to become a bad habit. Let's think about this. So we have turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Thought-Knot. Yeah, that is just an easy keep. So obviously, we even get to reveal that card, so that's cool. This also shows the deck to our opponent, which is, not nothing. Oh, wow. Okay, so we could just be dead here at turn 1 against Oops. Okay, I need to practice my die roll skills here. I feel like that matchup is atrociously bad. So let's see if we can learn anything about the opponent's version before going to sideboarding. Let's see here. Boom, a lot of cards here. So we see Pact. We see... What else do we see? That's kind of the interesting thing. Is this a Thoughtseize deck? It is, in some numbers anyway. There's the 1 Reanimate. All right. So let's go to sideboarding here. Kicking off in great style against Oops all spells. That could be a disaster. Let's see. So I like 11 cards, which is a lot. I don't think I need Grizzly Bear. I don't think I need more mana. I don't think I need this card. I don't think I need all of these. Let's see. Cutting the waste is probably fine, right? So getting rid of those and registering a deck with... I guess it's a pretty large pile of cards. You can even turn 1 Thought-Knot Seer as a keep here, right? So plenty of keeps, and then hopefully some aggro. Like a disruptive piece and a couple of creatures would be fine. But some of these pieces are a bit random. Like Null Rod doesn't do anything against the graveyard. Hearst doesn't do anything against Belcher. That type of thing. I think maybe the ideal hand is something like turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 creature with a fairy in the back pocket. Something along those lines. And then from there, if I get the aggro going and I kind of, my opponent just doesn't kill me, then any Wasteland or whatever is good as well. Okay, I'll keep this hand based on the fairy. My opponent is obviously gonna have an idea about that. And as things stand, my turn 2 plays a K command for 1. So this is just how it is to play against 2 spells. Like if you mulligan here, chances are your next hand will either be short on mana, short on hate, short on stuff to do, right? So can't have it all. It's just important to understand that. I play out my temple so that I can potentially draw another soul land and play my Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, Chalice of the Void. Is that a good card? I mean, I'm going to play it for 1 because I'm playing against a Dark Ritual discard spell deck, but it just doesn't look like the opponent's hand is doing anything of that sort, so... Alright. Yeah, this is super scary. Because now I just lose to, like, Belcher Pass, even? Let's see what this is. This is Undercity Informer. So now... Oh, the opponent even passed the turn. Here's Courtyard. What does that tell me? Courtyard lets me pick the best card out of my opponent's hand, but it also lets me hold up K command alongside Fairy. K command alongside Fairy. And then maybe if the opponent does nothing, I end step the K command. Excuse me. So I think the move here is to... I think the move here is to try and use that Fairy to beat my opponent. I should K command here, end of turn. Let's see. The opponent tries to go aggro on me. That's kind of cool. Okay, Chalice getting killed here is annoying. Yes, Chalice is gone. And now the question becomes if that unlocks a Thoughtseize on the side of the opponent. Now let's K command like this. See if I can find something else. I don't think this Smasher is going to do anything. Question is if that Eye of Ugin is good. So now let's think about what's going to happen next turn. So first of all, let's think about the interaction between Fairy Macabre and that deck. So they will mill everything over. They will probably Dread Return. Maybe Therapy me first. I will Fairy onto the Oracle and something else. Then they can reshuffle it with Memory's Journey. So I need to make sure that they don't have that time. And funnily enough, these two cards could help me secure that. So let's try and think about if I play I have Ugin, I can go... Oh, wait a minute. Because I need to kill my opponent next turn. That's kind of the deal here. Not next turn, but the turn after, right? So Linebreaker will then be a, you know, discounted by 1 by the eye, because I still need colorless, and I need colored. That would be a 2-drop. Thought-Knot Seer's another 2-drop. This is a 3-drop. So how much mana do I have? I have 4, 5, 6. Play this card. So I have 6 mana. That is not enough to do it all, but I think maybe that's fine. I think I'm fine going Thought-Knot Seer to look at the hand, and then one of the hasters. Yeah, let's try this out. So I have Ugin. Let's do Thought-Knot Seer. Also, wait a minute. So this can give haste to the Thought-Knot Seer if I want to, which is a lot of damage. Let's play this card. I'm not sure, but if the opponent is slow rolling Thoughtseize, it could come in handy. Let's see. Okay. So Dread Return in hand. I think that is atrocious for the opponent. I should probably just take that card. If they play the Spy, they mill themselves out. Okay. So I take Dread Return, which is crazy good for me. So now, let's see if I counted this correctly. 3-drop, 2-drop. So I could go Line Breaker. That does more damage, I believe. And next turn I can play both. Yeah, I think I'm in good shape this game. So now I'm killing my opponent over 2 turns. Let's attack for 7. 8 even, can't count. All right, so looks like we will have to win game 3 on the draw. The good thing is my opponent did not, see that I'm running Fairy Macabre. Oh, never mind. So now let's see. Targeting. It doesn't say what they're targeting, but I think this arrow means, I don't know. Let's just resolve this. Okay. So let's see. Let's see if this is some double dread return shenanigans. Let's see. How do I do this? Like this. Okay, so they're revealing the Belcher pivot, which is interesting. You boys and gals spot dread return. So now the opponent is probably doing this to get info, which is useful. So they get to learn about the fairy, which is useful for game 3. So well played by the opponent. I will fairy onto, let's see here. Maybe I'm just supposed to do it onto exactly Bridge and Oracle. So let's see that. Bridge, Oracle. Now they learned about that card. Well played. And I have a bunch of tramplers coming in next turn. Yeah, Oops All Spells is like, it puts a lot of pressure on the format. So when Oops All Spells numbers go down, in theory, it's a better time to play it, right? So this makes me less likely to register something like Leyline. This makes me less likely to mulligan or, choose my deck based on, I might never get a turn. So these non-blue decks are just at a disadvantage in that world. Let's see. It looks like the opponent wants to have a go at it, which is totally fine. Here comes Memory's Journey, targeting, I would imagine, just... Okay, they shuffle in Reanimate. I don't know if that's a problem. Let's see. Trying to resolve a therapy here. Let's see what they name. And other question is, do they have second therapy? And if they do, does that even matter? Yeah, there is second therapy there, so you can kind of just free roll that off the Poxwalkers. So at least they're hitting on the second one. They're naming K command. And then they get to snag one more card out of my hand. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything here. Or the opponent is just playing for, info, and let's say I had some bricks in hand. They maybe could have chump blocked out of this. But even now, this line breaker is just a 7-power trampler. Draw another one, which is funny. So let's go line breaker. All right, game 3. I don't even know, man. I probably need a fairy in my opener, and that kind of scares me. Here's Reality Smasher. Let's see, the first line breaker. Okay, doesn't matter. I have infinite damage there. So none of these cards help with having playable openers. Chalice on the draw is probably atrocious. But I'm not sure. Let me think here. It would theoretically give you more keeps to have, you know, Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, hold up K command as a turn 1. It's kind of niche, but you know, it does the trick. I'm okay making this super light swap. What if my opponent's on a Baraglyph plan? Then I'll need some Flesh Raker action to stabilize. I think I'm fine. All right. So my opponent learned about my fairies, and they're on the play for game 3, so they can't really ask for more. That's kind of the dream when you're playing Oops. But on the other hand, they also realize I'm not going to keep 7 bad cards and just roll over. Yeah, this is a tough one. They did show me Belcher. They did show me the disenchant cards. They were anticipating Leyline. So my flutes and my null rots are not as reliable as I would have, you know, loved them to be. Yeah, this hand is a mulligan. Even on the play, I have to mulligan that hand. Doesn't matter what the opponent does here. If they keep 7 or they also press the button, it's still not a keep for me. I think once I go to 6, I'll be happy with turn 1 something that isn't fairy necessarily. I'm not putting any stock into my opponent tanking here or whatever. I think they're keeping the same amount of hands. Like you could easily just slow roll here to keep me guessing on a, you know, on a speculative hand. So I don't think that has much of any value. Okay, so this hand loses to the goldfish. This hand is bad against Belcher, but I think I have to keep it. So maybe this chalice is bad. Will extra mana be good? I think that's going to be slightly better. Wait a minute. Maybe there's some turn 1 Hearse into turn 2 chalice for 2 line here that I have to consider. So maybe get rid of Cavern. No, wait. I don't even have 2 mana turn 1 here. Sheesh. I'm just so used to Eldrazi Temple being free. Okay, so this hand will give the opponent 2 turns to play the game. I don't think that's... wait a minute. Cancel. Oh, shoot. I already kept the hand. Okay, so I think I misclicked myself out of this one. Right? I can't do anything about this. Yeah. Okay. So now I feel like I need to draw Petal or Ancient Tomb or Fairy to not just be cooked. I will get rid of Cavern as I planned. Yeah, that was not good. Yeah, I clicked too fast. Eldrazi Temple being a soul land in the, you know, in the narrative. That's a rough one. Here's Cabal Therapy. So I guess I'm still in this game. So the opponent will name Fairy here, I'm almost certain. Because that's the card that's live here. Yeah, Fairy Macabre was the name. And now they see that I kept a hand I wasn't supposed to keep. Ironically, it worked out better than mulliganing to 5 and finding a fairy, which is really funny. So now, unless I draw the perfects, I think I'm priced into wastelining my opponent. Yeah, I think I have to wasteland here. Are you ready for the chalice for 0 hurting me with my 4 petals more than my opponent? I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I think I have to do it. Because I need time here. Okay, they had another land, which is unfortunate. And I draw the land, which is fortunate. So now is the big turn. Now is the big turn, opponent. I am a dead guy unless this happens. Okay. So now what do I do? Do I develop Hearse? Probably not bad. Let's go unlicensed Hearse. That card could complicate things for my opponent. Could have went Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah, I don't know. So this went from Soul Land to single color land in my mind. That's actually really interesting. Just based on like how you think about the deck as an opponent. Ancient Tomb, Eldrazi Temple, Ayabukin, you know, 2 mana lands. Then you start to realize you can't cast Chalice off of everything aside from Ancient Tomb. And then, yeah, just neglected to play the Thought-Knot Seer here, which is not how you should play the game. I should at least considered it, right? So let's get rid of those cards. I draw Ancient Tomb. Is that good? Ancient Tomb. So I feel like this is good, right? Because now I'm hopefully taking my opponent Charbelcher. Oh, wow. My opponent slow rolled against the Chalice. Wow. So Informer I have on lockdown. So I should take Dark Ritual here to be better against Belcher. Let's take Dark Rit. Let's play Grim Monolith. Bit of attack for 2 there, but I don't think that's how I should play. Yeah, wow. That was not ideal for the opponent, slow rolling all of these boys. I will Hearse my own Wasteland. So now I have Hearse and K Command, like 2 layers of anti-graveyard, essentially. And I drew that card. Okay, so looks like we're doing good against the Oops deck. I think my opponent has to get a little bit lucky to get there. Certainly possible. So another Dark Ritual has been drawn, and I'm going to take that card. Leave my opponent with some very bad cards. So I feel like I have lethal if I key command into a colored source. Battle doesn't work. Have to remember that though. So let's try and understand how important it is to find lethal right now. I don't think it is, because the opponent can at the maximum develop Charbelcher and pass. So I should hold up the K command. Yeah, I like this. Barry Macabre doesn't do anything right now. Kind of over the hump here. Attacking my opponent down to 5. And then if my opponent plays some kind of blocker, I can consider the command play to put my opponent away. Note that I only have 8 colored sources because of Chalice for 0 in play. Getting in there with a couple of eyes. Pass. 2 layers of nonsense. Also, if my opponent for some reason kept in Pact. Oh wow, 3rd Ritual. Sure. Informer. So that's gone. My opponent's last cards are that. Sure. Okay. So now my opponent is trying to get enough blockers, essentially. So that works. Wait a minute. Can I target my opponent here? Did I miss this all along? Oh my god. I missed that K command mills out the opponent. Target players, that is crazy. I've been playing Legacy for a lot of time, and I only understand this now because I connected the dots of when I have the One Ring protection, I can't use this mode. That is too funny. Simply too funny. So let us... Yeah, well, that is actually so cool that I understood this real time. They mill out, I force them to draw a card, and, you know... But I guess it doesn't really work because of the reshuffler thing, unless you know about your opponent's hand. Okay, but I guess this is just a live card, no matter how you slice it, no matter if you target the cards in the yard or you force them to draw out. I think just having that on my radar has kind of helped me immensely. All right, we got lucky. I accidentally kept the hand and won, which is funny. All right, let's play some more and play a little bit better. All right, guys, allow me to interrupt the video briefly here. Thanks so much for the space. I just want to talk about my newest initiative here. So obviously, I want to be the place to be. My Metafy should be the place to be if you care the slightest about Eternal Magic. So I'm trying to do my absolute best, delivering the good stuff to you guys week in and week out. So look at this. The next coming months, I will be hosting guest primers from the absolute experts of all the archetypes that I could think about when it comes to Legacy. First one, JPA on Sneak Attack. Incredible. Next up, not necessarily this order, Jujubin on Delver, double Eternal Weekend champion. Sprouts on Lands, multiple challenge winner. Futurism on 12 post. He's played the deck for years, works on this deck weekly. Tony Scapone on Storm, Mr. Combo. Newton, straight from the cradle. He will be talking about his favorite black-green cradle deck, all the updates. This is the place to be. Larson, Eternal Weekend champion. European Legacy Masters champion. Showcase champion. Mr. Breakfast. That will be a banger. Probably the one I'm looking forward to the most personally. We'll have Morsa on Energy. He put energy strategies on the map in Legacy, and he'll share all his insights. And then we have Harain on Dreadnought. Mr. Dreadnought. I'm too excited for this one. I don't know what to tell you guys. This is me trying to promote being a book smart baron. This is a $15 subscription that will give you access to all content, all my tournaments. You will have access to my community, all of these premium articles, everything that I'm putting out in the future, everything from the past. It's just going to be one click away with that subscription. So highly recommend. Next up, we have Ecoternal Weekend coming up. Ecoternal Weekend, that's also a fun name, but what is it aside from that? It's going to be an Eternal Weekend warm-up tournament. Two of those, make that two of those. We're going to be having Kai Sawatarix making a customized painting for the winner. Let's say you win with your favorite deck. You can tell him, yeah, I want it like this, like that, and he will execute your ideas. So these are going to be the details. September 6th is going to be the Legacy version. September 20th is going to be the Vintage one. It's going to be a Swiss tournament in one go, and you can check out the rest of the prize structure here. I can't wait to see you over there. If you want to save a little bit on your first month, you can use code ECO50. It would mean a lot to me to see you over there. I'll invite you to the Discord, and hopefully it's going to be the best early Christmas gift you give to yourself this year. Thanks so much for the space. Let's get back to the video. All right, round 2 here. I'm playing Eldrazi Aggro. I'm on the play with this, what it looks to be a terrible hand, because I don't even have turn 2 Linebreaker, right? Because I have Ugin will reduce, but I still have to pay the colorless. Huh. I have turn 3 Smasher, right? No, turn 4 Smasher. Yeah. I don't think this is going to do it. I'll try and mulligan. Like any Chalice hand, any, turn 1 Thought-Knot Seer, going to be better. Okay, interesting. So I have turn 1 Thought-Knot Seer, turn 2 Linebreaker if I put away the Devourer. I like that. Putting away Devourer seems not intuitive. Okay, let's see if this humor works. That humor is not for everybody. My opponent said, "Be right back. Sorry, baby crying." And I said, "Yeah, you got it. Is it an actual one or some legacy players? Let's see." I've gotten in trouble before on the internet with humor like that. I like to live dangerously. So let's talk about this hand a little bit more. I'm basically doing the Belcher thing with my Thought Nuts here. So if that gets forced, I'm in trouble. If that resolves, I can hopefully pick apart my opponent's plane a little bit and then follow up the line breaker and kill my opponent in, you know, quick fashion. So is this a turn 3 kill? Like, let's say I don't get interacted with. Let's see. Turn 2 I deal 8. No, 9. So 9 and 9. Okay, so need a little bit help for it to be a turn 3 kill. But that is pretty cool, like putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. Let's see if this Thought Nuts here can snag something and stick around. All right, let's get this show on the road here. Let's go pedal, pedal. No reason to play out the other one just yet. If my opponent was on the play with a blue deck, you can think about days. Oh, wow. Shoot. So now I'm in trouble here. Let's try to understand what's going on. So these Chromoxes don't seem that great. Let's think about this Wishclaw Talisman, though. So Wishclaw Talisman is a tutor card my opponent can play turn 1 if they want to. Worth noting is you can't imprint artifacts on Chromox. So the thing is, what happens if I take the Thoughtseize and I go the route that I talked about, basically, of trying to win quickly? Then my opponent can go turn 1, nothing. Maybe develop Ursa Saga. Then turn 2, play the Talisman. Turn 3, they can go and get what exactly? What is this deck getting from what would be very low life point? I think it's 2 life at that point. Let's see. They can also, let's see, turn 1. So they have 2 LEDs at that point because Saga would have popped off. If they play it. I don't know if they, you know, they sense the sense of urgency. They might do that, right? The 2 LEDs, Wishclaw. Wonder what their business spell is at that point. So maybe, but the thing is, if I take the Talisman here and I get Thoughtseize on the line breaker, I don't think I'm winning against my opponent's Ursa Saga popping out 5/5s. I'm gonna take the Thoughtseize here, and then I'm gonna see what happens. But this is scary. I might have to get lucky. But is that even possible to get lucky here? Because I play Line Breaker. That is a 9, right? 9 next turn, and then 9 more. Yep, the opponent goes turn 1 Saga. And then they're playing out that stuff because of... Okay, they drew that card. Yeah, they drew a black card, so now they can even develop the Talisman here. Battle Mage. Yeah, I think I'm just losing no matter how I slice this game. And I'm not even sure I gave myself a chance to win. Let's see. Attack for 9, and next turn I can attack for 10. That's the thing. So even if, let's say my opponent doesn't play this Saga out, I don't even win this game. K command wouldn't have done it. Yeah, I feel like my opponent is beating me easily here. Here's Opal, so my opponent's last card is Chrome. They should probably just play that card out, yeah. Yep, that was annoying. If I leave the Thoughtseize, I just have a 4/4 and I lose to this card. Yeah, not sure. Okay, it looks like the opponent can do something now, so now I have to get just super lucky, unless they have a card that just kills me. here comes the tutor. Let's think about sideboarding while our opponent is working here. So null rods are good. Flutes are solid. Yeah, just 2 null rods here. That's brutal. Here's Beseech the Mirror. The opponent tutored for Beseech the Mirror. Casting Gaia's Will. Black Lotus. Opal. Beseech Tendrils. That is exactly 16. Okay. So the opponent could have went through some more Beseech sacks here if they didn't have enough Storm. All right, opponent. That's a solid draw. Turn 2, kill through a Thought-Knot Seer turn 1. That's what you want to see. 16 damage. Yeah, gotta love some Storm decks. Let's see. Null Rod is... like, those 5 are good. And then let's see here. So Battle Mage is just a 2/2. Except, I guess... you know, as a somewhat anti-Ursa Saga card. So maybe, just maybe, that is slightly better than anything else. I don't think Cutting Wastes is bad against a combo deck. So now the question is, do I like Grim Monolith or do I like Battle Mage? I probably like Battle Mage a tiny bit more. What about a couple of fairies instead? Why is that good? It's good because it could mess up some Beseech into Gaia's Will lines. Maybe that's fine. I have Wastelands and Flutes against Saga. Then just a couple of Graveyard Hate pieces. Maybe I should have a third one. I also like just killing that deck. All right. I feel like I need either Chalice, Flute, Null Rod, Thought-Knot Seer in my opener. I think that's enough of a wide range of cards. Okay, Storm. Yeah, that's just like old times. I used to play a lot of Storm. That was a ton of fun. But back then, you could kind of count on playing against it. I feel like these days, it's just lurking. And then it's here to punish me when I least expect it. So, turn 1, Null Rod. Turn 2, Fleshraker. Turn 3, Smasher, hopefully. That should be good. Because I have Colorless on the Courtyard, play Fleshraker. Well, I guess I need some help in order to cast that Smasher, but a command is solid. So my opponent on a mulligan makes them more likely to hedge a little bit, getting rid of a 0, don't get blown out by Chalice or Null Rod. But it also, you know, just makes it harder for a Storm deck to go off. Eldrazi. Turn 1, Null Rod. All right, so now the opponent really needs some magic from Dark Ritual to even Vault of Whispers to shut down here. Ursa Saga. I think that's totally fine. Another Smasher. Could potentially be a dead card. Here's Fleshraker. If that deck is on Ancient Tomb, I'm shocked. Okay, another Ursa Saga. So far, so good, and I draw that card like a champ. So let's play Smasher. Try and clock the opponent. So they're dead next turn. And they get to tutor a 1 here. And they don't have anything. Perfect. So that was the easy part, being on the play with a turn 1 Null Rod. My 2 of. Now comes the hard part. I feel like I want a third fairy on the draw. Which card is inconsequential on the draw? Could be like a Smasher. Yeah, I think putting a Smasher here is fine. The thing about Smasher and Line Breakers, they're not good unless I'm already disrupting my opponent. So maybe I can easily cut a Line Breaker as well. But what would I add for that card? What would I add for that card? Just a Battle Mage, maybe? No, I don't think that makes sense. All right, I'll try this. Yeah, I feel like I'm in terrible trouble here on the draw. I can hope that my opponent, you know, misevaluates the threat of Null Rod by either losing to it and I draw it, or, you know, going for a risky line because they don't want to see it when I don't have it, like that kind of stuff. That's not impossible. But it is a tough one. So this hand does almost nothing. I do have Saga covered. I could play land Mox Pass. I'll try and keep this hand. But the thing is, I'm basically keeping this on the because of the flute. So right now, a big part of my opponent's range here is some Saga draw that they think is, you know, super resilient. The opponent's on the multi 4, and I can't say I can't say I love what's going on here. So what are they likely to have now? I guess we learn a lot by their turn 1 because they're heavily incentivized to play out zeros in the matchup. Okay, I'm getting Thoughtseize, so the cat is out of the bag here with regards to why I kept my hand. And I can't say I'm proud. So this is like the absolute bottom of my range. The opponent spammed the mulligan button a lot to get here. And now I'm in a spot where I want to draw lands. I guess that is the easiest cards to draw statistically, but it also feels a bit weird that my best draws against Storm are going to be lands. So my opponent goes for the Petal, which is a very... It's either very short-sighted or the opponent is so desperate that they cannot win if I get to play the game. So let's see. Here's Talisman. My opponent is trying to like double, you know, make me worry about 2 things basically. So I can now go Raker or just Thought-Knot Seer. I should probably play Thought-Knot Seer, right? Let's think. If I go Flesh Raker, 1 floating, can't use that for anything. The next turn, I can play... No, I'm kind of in the same position, mana-wise. I need to draw another mana source. Let's play that card. Snag Infernal Tutor. And now, funnily enough, I think I need to dodge land from the side of my Storm opponent, which is a little bit funny. Okay, I dodged land. I get Thoughtseized. I don't think this Thoughtseize is meaningful. I don't think the opponent can give me a Wish Claw. Okay, they take Line Breaker in order to buy as much time as possible. And I draw land. Yeah, I'm too strong here. So I should... Let's see how this works. Can I play Fleshraker Flute? I don't think I can, because I'm floating Eldrazi mana. The opponent has 0 cards. The opponent can tutor a card. That's fine. So I think I need to flute. I think I need to flute the Wish Claw here. Disruptor, Flute, Wish Claw, Talisman. And then my opponent's at 12, and I'm hitting for 9 next turn. Opponent draws a card, floating mana. That's not good. Unless it's just a good habit, you know? So now the opponent can tutor LED and do something. So maybe I should use my next turn disrupting rather than progressing the board, because I hit my opponent to 8, and then next turn 9 is lethal. Yeah, I should probably disrupt your flute once more, and I should use all my brain power trying to figure out what to name. I can't say I have it figured out. So this cannot name mana abilities, right? This is not like Revoker, this is like Needle. Yeah. Okay, here's Opal. That is a Mox. They have to pass. I draw Fleshraker. Let's see. If I float 2, play Fleshraker. Let's see. Fleshraker off of this temple. That should be good. Fleshraker. Wait a minute, did I just miss lethal? Let's see. So now I can do like this. Flute name what? That's the thing. I think I'm one short. My opponent has 2 mana. I'm attacking them down to 2 life. Which card kills me here? LED? No. Out of the graveyard? Is that the only thing the opponent can do here? Dark Ritual. That's 4 mana. Then you can Beseech. LED doesn't let you Beseech. Okay. I'll try and name Dark Ritual. Let's see how it works out for him. Attack my opponent down to 2 and hope I'm not a dead guy because I misplayed my Disruptor Flute. All right, we got our opponent here. I think we got very lucky that my opponent spammed the mulligan button in anticipation of stuff like Null Rod. After crushing him with it game 2, I'm not certain, obviously. But that's like some of the mindset I have in tough spots where understanding what needs to happen for you to, get lucky or for the opponent to make a irrational decision. Sometimes it's like a very polarized, just pay 2 mana for a Null Rod and they can't do anything. And then they don't want to repeat that same, occurrence, basically. And that will lead to the first mulligan, which leads to the second one. And then all of a sudden, I can win a game on turn 5 with, 1 disruptive creature, a couple of flutes for good measure, and a little bit of beatdown. But yeah, who knows if that's what happened here. I just wanted to let you guys in on that kind of way of thinking. All right, let's play one more match before we wrap it up. All right, round 3. This is going to be a cool one. I'm playing against the Japanese sensei, Tempo Sensei INF. I'm on the play here, which is good news for this deck in general, and this hand as well. So let's think about this. I'm obviously going to Chalice, but which land do I want to expose here? I should probably expose a Cavern. So that will incentivize my opponent to counter the Chalice no matter what. Or they could be thinking, this resolves, I wasteland the Cavern, and my Force Will is fine for later, but it's not, right? So let me go ahead and keep this hand. Name Eldrazi. Eldrazi. Petal. Chalice of the Void. I would love to resolve this card. That will make the game so much more simple. Against what I believe INF is running, right? Usually a Ponder Mage. Also, now I'm telling my opponent that Daze doesn't work. Not necessarily strategic advantage. There's Bobble, so this could be a Corey Steel Cutter situation. All right, so the opponent cantrips the Bobble. I will play Line Breaker. I will attack for 4 damage. And then now we could see the opponent. Nope, we don't see our opponent start spamming instants just into the void. So that means the opponent could have a cutter here. Yeah, this is a Corey Steel. Okay, Corey Steel with no follow-up is decent for me. So now I have to understand if I want another Chalice on 1 or Chalice on 0. I think Chalice on 0 is super weak. With 1 Bobble gone. I don't know. Let's play around the 1 Brazen Borrower that's most likely in my opponent's deck. Also, I'm developing another temple to have more mana as soon as possible, and I'm giving my opponent the idea that Wasteland is good, but I just have a second one, right? So let's see what this is. Okay, I see. Okay, my opponent's really setting up. I draw Wasteland, which could make it hard for my opponent to double spell. That's the theory anyway, so get rid of that card. Attack. At this point, I have a lot of good draws like Smasher, more Line Breakers, etc., etc. So those monks are very beatable, even if my opponent manages to double spell. Okay, I like this a lot. Nice draw, which conveniently enough lets me know about the opponent's hand before committing the Line Breaker. So let's Thought Knot Seer, uncounterable. Ooh, the opponent didn't want to show. Okay. All right, is it Cutter? Play draw being so huge there. Yeah, I don't have much here. A couple of his members are maybe decent to play against fast channeler. And then aside from that, I think I'm just going to submit my deck here because I love all my mana sources. I can, you know, kill. This is good against both Murktide and Corey Steel itself. And then I just have my dudes here, right? Chalice is awesome. Devourer could be, you know, not great, but it could also just help fix my opening hand. Who knows? All right, on the draw here against Sensei Inf, and I have a Devourer, which will help me find exactly what. Let's read this card. Reveal it. Look at the top 4. Put one of those cards back. So this could be anything, right? So let's see. Yeah, this is probably gonna be fine. Here's Bobble. Bobble turn 1, targeting themselves, which usually means you have a fetch and a volcanic. Okay, I see. The opponent is probably holding up Consign here, which is something to think about. Should I reveal these? I don't think so. I don't reveal these. Okay. So let's see. If I'm getting Consigned, we want to hedge against Wasteland a little bit. It's probably not bad. So maybe go turn 1. Is turn 1 Cavern good? Hmm. I'm trying to understand how to, like, beat Force of Will. Cavern must be the answer to that question. Now the question is if I play it out. I could play it out. I don't think that's terrible. But I also want my opponent to keep holding up Consigned Memory. What happens if I get wasted on the Tomb? Is that bad? Maybe I can start with a Petal here to keep my opponent off guard a little bit. Maybe I go like this. S, and then have the intention to crack a pedal to play on counterable Raker next turn. It's not perfect for obvious reasons. Okay, so my opponent takes the draw. Now they have a tough decision to make, I feel like. Also, they took the random draw. They don't want to get wasted. They play actual Delver. Okay, cool. So yeah, this has holding up consign written all over it to me. Then the question is if they have bolt as well. Let's take the turn. I'll draw another Flesh Raker. I feel like this is the time for me to go Eldrazi, uncounterable, hope to fade bolt. Let's see if I can fade the bolt. Looks like I can't. Okay, Unholy Heat. It's good to know about. A little bit of big removal. No flip on the Delver. Cameron gets wasted and Consign is back on. Yeah, this is kind of some of the 1-2 punches that I thought about, but obviously you can't beat it all. So now I'll have to go with a similar play here, but just a lot worse against, you know, Consign and okay, so they have another burn spell. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now they can bubble themselves to learn about how to resolve the Delver. Flip. The opponent got mileage out of 2 bolt effects here. That's not how we want the games to go. They didn't flip. Yeah. Sorry about that. So I'm a little bit lucky here. Is this Murktide holding up Consign? Okay. Yeah, that draw is not beatable for us. That's totally fine. Here's Eldrazi Linebreaker, which will easily lose the race. Let's see. I need 1 more mana. Yeah, I need 1 more mana to Battle Mage my opponent's Murktide. Okay, so this gets consigned. So you're telling me there's a chance. I guess the opponent needs to break here for me to have a chance. Daze. So that card actually does something good here as well. Well, maybe not. So now I can bounce this card, but how do I ever kill the Delver from 1 life? Let's see. Bounce the Murktide. Go to 4 from Ancient Tomb, get attacked. Yeah, that's just gonna do it here. What did the opponent flip with? They flip with Daze, so I can't even see their hand here for info. All right. I'll have to try and win game 3 against INF. Always a good opponent. You can always, you know, get some quality games there. That's a certainty. All right, so let's see if we can overpower the Delver deck here. I do have a turn 1 Chalice of the Void. Turn 2, nothing. I think that's reasonable. Then if I get forced, we have some kind of game. If I don't get forced, I'm loving the situation. I can think about working on my opponent's mana, but should probably not do that. I should probably build towards my own stuff. Chalice of the Void. Let's see if the opponent is starting the game off. Nope, they're not. Yeah, that's decent for me. So my opponent now has no turn 1 play. And I draw a Petal, which means I could play... I should probably play Linebreaker outside of Daze. Huh. Smasher's just... Yeah, I think I have to do this. So I go... Petal. Yeah, I have to do this, right? Because otherwise I'm just going to lose my colored source. So it's not because of Daze, it's because, you know, I can play both of my threats. The next turn I'm getting dazed on the Smasher, which is atrocious. Oh, so the opponent... Okay. Pitch Brainstorm. That's fair. So wait a minute. So the opponent maybe could have forced his Chalice. Why wouldn't they do that? Okay, maybe they just didn't care with, like, Corey Bobble Draw? Sure. Okay, they don't have that. Okay, so I'll try and start smashing, but I'm not sure. I'm not confident in this because double spelling, the opponent can start attacking. Let's see how this works out. Guess the K command on a monk is very good at racing. So now it's interesting if my opponent has an answer to Chalice, or they simply said, I need to counter like a big thing with my force. Okay, second cutter is a big problem. Because here's a 1-drop down the dumpster that, you know, turns into a couple of monks. Mm-hmm. And those monks will attack me. So, okay. So how do I play? I drew another Smasher, which is obviously incredible. So let's think about this. I think I need to K command and get 2 tokens. So let's see. I have to think here. What happens if I go Reality Smasher, wasteland my opponent once? No, that doesn't work. This is very hard. So I'm obviously losing the race here if I just, you know, just by attacking. So what about this? Kill 1 guy, make 2 guys. I think that's a reasonable play. Let's see. So exile target creature and get some guys. So I'll do that and I'll exile that one. Now I do get some blockers. And attack. If my opponent double spells, I think I'm dead. And they should have a hard time double spelling. Is this equipping? No, that can't be. Meltdown? Okay. So meltdowning the Chalice is insane here. And now, did the opponent find a spell? Okay, nice. Okay, so the opponent had to get a little bit lucky here, but you know, that's magic, right? So I think I kind of nailed what needed to happen here. I needed to not die this turn. So the thing is, if I have to tap my Ancient Tomb once more, I go to 4. Let's see. What if I go to 4 this turn? Maybe I messed up here. Let's see. If I go to 4, tap these instead, keep up double Wasteland, kills 1 creature, makes 2 creatures. Then I'm at 4. The opponent, you know, maybe they attack with a 2/2. That puts me at 2 life. Then I can't cast a Smasher. Okay, so that would be annoying. What if I block 1? Then then they trample over for 1. I'm at 3. Then I can tap the Tomb, 2 Wastelands. No, wait a minute, because I would waste my opponent in this scenario. Oh, that was too hard. Okay. I got a little lost in that game and what needed to happen in the end. I'm mainly just trying to figure out if I could prevent my opponent from double spelling. So obviously, we could also just say, oh, wow, the opponent got lucky. They drew a Meltdown or Bolt and they exactly got there. Like, you know, that is something you can choose to do. But I think it's better to see, could I have prevented losing to double spelling? Yeah, that's certainly worth thinking about. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I had a fun time playing the Eldrazi deck. It's a deck that on the draw, if you have some stuff like Wastelands or Thoughtseize or just some kind of pressure where you can make the Ancient Tombs hurt a lot. I mean, then you're doing fine against the deck. And then you have these awesome hands where you go, you know, Chalice of the Void, and that bricks half of your hand and whatever. And then obviously the opponent drew Double Cutter and had some good stuff. But in those games, the Eldrazi deck is going to be heavily favored. So yeah, I like this deck in the metagame. I think it's awesome to have around, especially after the ban 6 months ago, whenever it was. So yeah, that's going to do it for today. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love making these videos. I hope you guys enjoy watching them as well. So yeah, thanks so much, and I hope to see you back next time.